Richician.
Hey YouTube, Richician 84 here, and welcome to Q&A number 79. Let's kick this off, starting with 4 questions from Express Gaming, who got here first. 1. What toppings do you prefer on pancakes? I like bananas, strawberries, and chocolate sauce or syrup on my one. I guess I like pretty much anything on there, really. Lemon juice, syrup, chocolate, um, sprinkled sugar, just any of those, really. Um, 2. I'm pretty sure that's meant to say have, not if, but have you ever made a pancake before? Uh, you can flip it in the air without breaking the pancakes. Um, Well, obviously I have made pancakes in the past, but I'm pretty sure I did manage to flip it over like a couple of times, but it's not easy. And I can't help but worry that it's not going to land in the pan and it's going to land somewhere else, which like is, well, a nightmare. 3. This year's summer, uh, wait, what? This year's summer on a heat wave. Um, Wait, are you trying to ask if there's a heat wave? Because I don't understand the question here, or the first half of it anyway. So I'm going to assume you're asking if there's a heat wave. Would you let Emma uh, pour a bucket ice cold? Why am I having trouble reading this? Would you let Emma pour a cold ice bucket challenge on you? It helps if words are in the correct order. Um, but um, that, that wouldn't even be a challenge. It was only a challenge back in the summer of 2014 when people either donated or did the challenge for this charity. I can't for the life of me remember what charity it was off the top of my head. Um, I mean, I kind of know what you're getting at, but it wouldn't officially be a challenge. Um, but I suppose to answer the question, if it was ridiculously hot, then I suppose I would let her pour cold water on me, or she'd let me do it to her. Um, yeah, it depends, but hopefully it won't be stupidly hot. Uh, there were days last summer and the summer before where it was just way too hot. I mean, I like hot weather more than cold weather, uh, but I don't like it when it's too hot. So yeah, I can understand the pain of those who hate the summer. Anyway, 4. I wish Yu-Gi-Oh would bring back the deluxe editions they had in the past. If they did, what cards would you like it to be based around? Well, I agree with that. I loved the deluxe editions. They were absolutely amazing. They were much better than special editions and super editions. So I don't know what was wrong with them and why Konami stopped doing them. Um, but I feel like having them for main series sets would be perfectly fine. And maybe instead of sleeves, no, actually, they could keep the sleeves, but just make them a better quality, I guess, like with Magnificent Mavens. And instead of promos of random cards, maybe give us some dice instead. Um, yeah, that would definitely be really cool. Hopefully, they'll come back one day. Uh, and the next three questions are from Matt and Alison Welch. 1. Whenever you and Emma do get married, is there a chance you will film the wedding and put it up on your channel, or at least bits and pieces of it? Um, I don't know about filming the whole wedding. Um, it might be a bit tricky to do. Um, but I am planning on doing a wedding vlog video where basically I just filmed different parts of the wedding day. Like maybe I could even ask someone to film the part where I do my speech. Yeah, that'd be cool. Um, so yeah, just make little videos, and then when I get the chance, edit them into one big video and then upload it. So yeah, to answer the question, I plan to upload bits and pieces of it. 2. Animation Chronicles 2023 is on the horizon. Any anime-only archetypes you would like to see be made in the real physical card game? I'm not actually aware of that set. Like, this is the first I've heard of it. Um, I'm just trying to think what I'd want really. Um, it's really tricky. Um, like I know obviously everyone would want Balan's armor cards and Amnail's alchemy beasts. Um, Although I'm personally not bothered about those. Um, don't know. Um, Actually, wait. Yes, I do. I would actually like it if you know, that cat girl's cat cards became a real archetype. Uh, I'm trying to remember her name. The character from Hugo Zexel. I'm pretty sure only do twice. Once against Yuma, and then again against some guy dressed like a dog. um, yeah, I'm pretty sure Catherine's the name, like, unless I'm getting confused with someone else. But well, Zexel fans must know who I'm talking about, right? Um, um, so yeah, those ones, because I literally can't think of anything else. 3. If Konami decides to do another Legendary collection one day, what would you like the collection to be based on this time? Um, I think Jaden, definitely. I know we've had Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Legendary Collection 2, which is a GX set, but still, since Jaden's my favourite GX character, something for him would be really awesome. It would kind of be sort of a reader of Legendary Collection 2 in a way, but with more hero cards. Um, that would be cool. I wouldn't want it to be the exact same set, but that would be cool. Or alternatively, something for the other series that haven't been covered. I mean, we don't yet have anything for Zexal, Arc 5, and Brain, so I would love to see something for them. But preferably something for Jade. Nice. I do miss Legendary collections. Um, Next three questions. Yeah, I was on them. Yeah, from Weber's 5. Um, 1. When will Emma's playmat debut be on one of the channels? Soon. I definitely plan to make that happen next week. I was hoping to make it happen like a few days ago when I was round hers. I did want to get some games in, but we didn't have time, unfortunately. So uh, next time, hopefully, we'll make that happen and get several games in, including the rematch of Cyberdocs and Melfi's. Yeah, because for those who don't know, I plan to redo that match because apparently I made two mistakes with Cyberdark Cannon, which messed up the game state. Because when Merry Melfi's bounced one of my Cyberdark monsters that Cannon was equipped to, I wouldn't have been able to draw a card. And also, I accidentally used Cannon to search for Claw when I couldn't have done because it only searches for Cyberdark machines, and Claw is a dragon. Um, and I feel like I won game two when I shouldn't have. Um, and yeah, because I made those mistakes, I didn't think it was fair on Emma and the Melfies. So we're gonna redo it and see who really should have won that match. Um, but in my defense, though, it was my first time using Cyberdocs, and we all make mistakes. Um, so, yeah. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Two. What if I told you I was thinking about going back to recording tournament matches? Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, that's absolutely great. I mean, what made you change your mind? Yeah, that's a question to you. Probably no point asking it for your Q&A. Because but I know you said that you didn't record your tournament games because yeah, it was difficult doing that and running the tournament and being on call for rulings and stuff. Um, yeah, which is perfectly understandable. But if you're doing them again, then that's great. I look forward to it. Of course, we'll have to try and figure out a setup for our games. Set up a double vision match, but we'll figure it out. We always do. Um, um, and yeah, for those who didn't see my last video, I am planning on making another temporary comeback to tournaments. For more information, watch that video. Um, 3. Have you considered playing Artemis the Majestus Moon Maiden in your Dark Magician deck? I saw a version by TSX using it on Master Duel, summon it using Rod to then be tributed for Rod's graveyard effect on the following turn, and serving as another light monster that can be revived for Master of Chaos, which apparently is something that Gongner suggested, which I don't remember. All the same, though, that's actually a really good idea. Um, Moon Maiden did randomly cross my mind the other day. Can't remember why exactly, but that is actually a good shout, which I'll definitely consider. Because I do have one going spare, which I might use. And I am thinking about making changes to my Dark Magician extra deck anyway, because there's monsters that I hardly ever summon. Dark Paladin, Draco Sack, and Nightmare Unicorn. Um, then again, I don't even summon Amulet Dragon and Ebon Illusion Magician that much anymore. But I'd still prefer to have Amulet Dragon because it is one of the easiest Dark Magician fusions to go into. Um, so maybe I'll drop one of the others for Moon Maiden. That I'm even thinking about running Dark the Dark Charmer Gloomy, the Link monster. I'm not sure yet. Um, then again, I don't really want to drop Dark Paladin. I mean, the only way I can summon Dark Paladin is if I play Secrets of Dark Magic and fuse Dark Magician with the Light Hex Sealed Fusion, which is very situational, but it can come up. Although ideally, I'd prefer to use Light Hex in combination with Fallen of Albaz and Branded Fusion to go into Albion, then use its effect to bring out Dark Magician the Dragonlight. Uh, so maybe I will keep Dark Paladin just because it's one of my top three favourite fusions. And I kind of like the idea of having my top three favourite fusions being played in all three of my signature decks. Obviously, my elemental heroes have Shining Flare Wingman, and Rainbow Neos has, well, Rainbow Neos. Um, so I'll have to think about that. I just hope it won't really complicate things regarding scripting duels for our big movie. As obviously, I did send you all the deck lists. But it shouldn't be a problem. If you've started scripting the duels involving me specifically, don't worry about changing anything. Just keep the list as it is. Um, anyway, that's that. Uh, and the last five questions are from Gunnar. One, you say you want to build Yugi gadgets again. Does this mean a special anime version with Gandora, or the normal gadgets from Fists of the Gadgets? Um, I would say a bit of both, because I'm not playing absolutely everything Yugi used in the final duel against a Tem, even though it would be really cool running Summoned Skull, Buster Blader, and Curse of Dragon, and Gandora. Um, but I don't think that would be a good idea. Um, as for Fists of the Gadgets, I'm only playing um, one monster from that, which is the Boot Up General, whatever its name is. The one that you summon by attributing two gadgets, and once per turn it pops a card for free. Um, of course, it is still playing Marshmallow, because why not? Um, and because it's one of my three Egyptian god decks, I am still playing Obelisk the Tormentor in it, even though Little Yugi didn't play any of the Egyptian gods. Um, but I just figured it would be cool having that in there. Well, like I said before, my Poker Knights have Slifer and my Magnet Warriors have Ra. That makes sense, kind of. Um, Two, what are your thoughts about the Trap Tricks archetype in general? I swear you already asked me this. I can't remember for sure, but I'll answer it anyway. Yeah, I fucking hate Trap Tricks. I really do, and I don't like that they have a structure deck. Um, Purely because it gives too much easy access to Bottomless Trap Hole, which is one of my most hated cards of all time. I mean, it may not be in my top 10 list of hated cards in general, but it is among my top 10 hated trap cards in the game, because it's a cheap shot banish card, just getting rid of one of my best monsters just like that. Especially Dark Magician and Elemental Hero The Shining, because with The Shining, it's really inconvenient. Because then I get denied the Shining's second effect to add back two banished elemental heroes because it didn't go to the graveyard. But that doesn't annoy me as much as Dark Magician getting banished. Like, it's just a cheap, dirty way of getting rid of my favourite card, and is downright disrespectful. to a classic anime boss monster. Um, then again, I hate it when anything banishes Dark Magician, like Bottomless, D Prison, DD Crow, Gaius the Shadow Monarch, Mirror Jade, Bestials. Like, I've lost count of how many times I've ranted about Bestials now. Um, anyway, I'm getting a bit off topic here. Um, but yeah, obviously you've got Mamilio to search Bottomless out, or of course you have Rafflesia to activate it from the deck. And if I know the opponent has it, it makes it really difficult to be able to play. So I can't really do anything without one of my best monsters getting banished, which is what makes the deck infuriating. Now, I haven't read any of the new cards, so probably should, just in case I do encounter them. Um, but yeah, I just can't stand trap tricks, whether or not they're being played by themselves or being played with artifacts and hands. Um, I can't believe I forgot to put this deck on my big list of hated decks, along with DDDs, Fluffles, and Magical Musketeers. Um, of course, that would have bumped it up to 62. Um, but that doesn't mean there's more decks that I hate than decks that I like, because believe it or not, there are a lot more decks that I actually like than decks that I actually hate. Even though other decks I've grown to hate recently are Macro, because it's come back to life thanks to Macro and D Fissure going to free. Um, Bestials, like, just on their own. Goatees, after what Damien put me through. Um, I think that's it, really. And even though I've never encountered Flunderies and Cashtierers, um, I've heard horror stories about them, and I feel like there'll be decks that I'll hate as well. Free, what do you think about Red Eye's Soul? Do you want to play it? Yeah, I like Red Eye's Soul. It's very cool, makes it easier to bring out certain Red Eyes monsters. Um, I don't know if I'll be able to pull off its last effect, though. I assume it needs to be on the field in order to do that. Um, but I don't know how the hell I'm going to fit 3 copies into my Red Eyes Black Dragon deck. So, yeah, to answer the other part of the question, I do want to play it, and it has been recommended I play 3, but I need to work out a ratio. Um, I might need help from someone with that. Um, and I do like that it's just a rare, so it should be stupidly easy to get. So maybe I'll pull multiple copies when I get my Maze of Memories box. 4. What if Ishizu beat Kaiba in the last top 8 match of Battle City? How would the story be continued? What are your ideas? Ooh, that's interesting. Um, like, well, it would be pretty humiliating for Kaiba. Um, that's for sure. Um, I mean, he'll still be part of the virtual world arc, of course, but he'll no longer have Obelisk, of course, and it'll be in Ishizu's possession. Um, but yeah, moving past that, that little battle royal will now be between Yugi, Joey, Marek, and Shizu. And it does make me wonder how that would play out. It's hard to say what Shizu would do, whether or not she'd use the same strategy she used on Kaiba. Um, so I really don't know. How it would continue really will depend on this and who gets pitted against who. Um, But let's say, for instance, Marek and Joey still lost first, so their semi-final match would still play out the same way, um, and it would mean that Yugi would take on a Shizu. Um, so um, again, I don't know if a Shizu would do the same thing she did to Kaiba, but I feel like there still would be a clash between Slifer and Obelisk somehow. Um, and Yugi being the main protagonist, he'd still um, win and go through to the final. But it just wouldn't be the same as the match with Kaiba in the actual timeline, and that was my second favorite duel from the original series. Um, we still wouldn't get that epic clash between Blue Eyes and Dark Magician, and have Red Eyes come out and help Yugi, and then we wouldn't get that clash of Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon and Dark Paladin. Um, just wouldn't be the same. Um, and then obviously the final would play out the same way. But would Joey and the Shizu still have a duel for third place? I, I know throughout the Battle City tournament, Joey did want a piece of Kaiba, but with Kaiba not in the tournament, I don't know if Joey would jump at the chance to play against a Shizu. Um, I mean, if they did, I don't know who'd win. I mean, obviously in that scripted duel, Shizu won, but we're talking about the actual anime here. Although going a bit off topic, I hate that in the scripted duels, Joey lost every single one. Like, come on, just for once, I want to see Joey win a scripted duel. Um, so who knows? But going back to the battle royale, I guess I'd have to figure it out another way. I mean, if um, I mean, I'm pretty sure Yugi would still be one of the winners regardless, because again, main protagonist. Like if Joey was the other winner, it would mean they'd face off against each other, while Marek would face a Shizu. Um, and I feel like because of plot convenience, Marek would probably defeat a Shizu and take Obelisk, so now Marek would have two Egyptian gods, therefore making him more dangerous. Um, but as for Yugi and Joey, well, that would be an interesting one. I feel like for plot convenience, Yugi would win, even though it's heavily implied that in the penultimate season 3 episode, where um, they started a duel, Joey beats Yugi. Otherwise, how else would he have got back Red Eye's Black Dragon? Um, but of course, if Joey did defeat Yugi, then that would end up being a complete disaster. Um, I mean, sure, Joey would beat Slifer, get Slifer, but who knows if he'd actually use it. Maybe it would change things, but if Joey and Marek faced off in the final, um, then it would play out the same way, and Marek would win the Battle City tournament, and the world would be doomed. Unless, of course, Yugi did step up and they had a duel outside. Um, that's how I see it being played out. But let's look at the other scenario. If Yugi faced Marek in the Battle City semi-finals, then the world it would play out the same way, and the world would be saved before the final even began. And Yugi would have both Slifer and Ra. Um, and in that sense, it would mean Joey would face Shizu. Um, but again, I'm not really sure how it would play out. I feel like Shizu winning would kind of suck for Joey fans. Because he's a fan favorite, and we all want to see him do well. And then, of course, it would be an anticlimactic grand final. But again, Yugi would defeat Shizu and gain all three Egyptian gods. Uh, I think what would happen here is Joey would be able to overcome uh, Ishizu. Um, like, wait, I've just had a thought. The Millennium Necklace. Would I forgot that that was a thing because that's how she predicted Kaiba's moves. So uh, like I said, I feel like Yugi and Marek would find a way around it because of the plot convenience. But whether or not Joey would is another story. Um, like I, maybe he would find a way. I'm not sure, but I'd like to think that Joey would defeat Shizu and win Obelisk the Tormentor, then face off against Yugi in the final, make it a rematch from the Duelist Kingdom final. Whether or not Joey would play Obelisk is another story. Um, but I'd like to think that, well, obviously, I can see Yugi winning and getting Obelisk because, again, plot convenience. But I would like to think that you would still return Red Eyes Black Dragon to Joey. Um, 5. What would have happened if Mai was able to defeat Marek back in the day via his own winged dragon of Ra, or even better, she steals it but never summons it? Well, that definitely would have changed everything if that had happened. Because like, well, again, uh, Mai wouldn't have been able to use Ra since she couldn't read the hieroglyphic text on Ra. So that would have still played out the same way. But so maybe she wouldn't summon it. But the problem was she didn't really have any knowledge about how Ra worked and just couldn't resist that urge to use Ra against Marek. Like that's the issue here. But let's say, for instance, she did, for the sake of the question, let's say she did actually play a bit smarter and was hesitant to try and control Ra. Now, if Marek still won regardless, then everything plays out the same way. But if Mai, by some miracle, did defeat Marek, then it would have changed everything, and the world would have been saved right there and then. So Marek would be out of the tournament. Mai would have Raw, um, and she'd move on to the semi-finals. Um, I feel like Marek would still try and cause problems somehow, which Yugi would eventually deal with. So again, we move on to like a four-way battle royal. So Mai is in there with Yugi, Joey, and Kaiba. Um, and it would be interesting to see how that goes. And it would definitely, yeah. One very interesting thing about it is having a glimpse of what would happen if Mai faced Kaiba, because the two of them have never dueled each other like ever, and it does make me wonder who would win between the two of them. Um, So again, I don't know which two would lose and which two would win in that situation. But let's try and keep it simple first. So if Mai did uh, get knocked out first, then Yugi would still face Kaiba and play that out the same way. And it would mean that Joey would face Mai. Um, so um, I'm not sure how this would go really. Uh, it's just a difficult one to predict. I know, obviously, in the Waking the Dragons arc, they dueled twice, but then again, Mai had the seal of Orichalcos, and obviously that wasn't a thing during the Battle City tournament. Um, so I really don't know who'd win between the two of them. Like if Mai did, then Joey would challenge Kaiba to a duel for third place, and that would still play out the same way. And then Mai um, would face Yugi in the final. Oh, actually, that's a thought. She'll have Winged Dragon of Ra. But I don't know whether or not she'd play it though. That's the thing. Maybe she'd attempt it, but Ra would still be stuck in its sphere mode, and I feel like it would just stay there aimlessly. Um, I mean, if she did bring sphere mode out, Joey might struggle to get around it. Um, so it would be just kind of awkward and anticlimactic. Same if she did it against Yugi, provided Mai wins, of course. Um, And then, of course, if Joey wins, then he'll get hold of Raw. But probably wouldn't use it. I'm not sure. But I don't know. I feel like we'd go through a whole arc of Raw not being summoned at all, which wouldn't be very interesting, really. Um, Now, the other question is, would Mai challenge Kaiba for third place? I don't even know. Maybe, maybe she would, or maybe she wouldn't. But I just don't know who'd win between the two of them. I feel like maybe Kaiba would. Um, yeah, just because I feel like the blue eyes and the crush card strategy might be a bit too much for Mai to handle, maybe. Um, Unless, of course, she gets out her Harpy Ladies and Harpy Ladies sisters very quickly, along with Harpy's pet dragon. Um, or still try her tricks with her Amazonesses. I don't know. I feel like the results would be the same regardless of who gets paired against whom. And yeah, that's all I can think of really. But of course, again, Marek would find some way to cause problems and try and take the Millennia Knight millennium items and the gods for himself somehow, which would result in uh, Yugi having to save the day. But yeah, that's my take on it. And that is it for questions in this episode. Again, this ended up being longer than I thought. I didn't think it would take this long, but it did. Regardless, thank you very much for your guys' questions. Again, they're all very good questions, as usual. Very fun to answer. And if you've got any other questions you want to ask me, post them in the comments section down below. And remember, I do these episodes every Tuesday afternoon or evening UK time, so be sure to get your questions in before then so you don't miss out. Thanks again, stay safe, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the Dark Richician YouTube channel.